In problem 18-3, we're asked to put together a single plant-wide factory overhead rate. So to do that, whenever we come up with an overhead rate that we're going to apply throughout the year, throughout the month, we don't know how much overhead that we're going to have as the year progresses. So we have to use budgeted numbers or estimated numbers to come up with that, and then at the end of the year we kind of true everything up. So in this problem, in part A, we want to determine the plant-wide factory overhead rate. So it gives us some cost information, and then it gives us some volume information down here. So starting off, we need to know what our total budgeted overhead is. So as we go through this list, we have factory depreciation, indirect labor, factory electricity, indirect materials. Those are all overhead items. However, we get down here, we look at selling expenses and administrative expenses. Hey, that's not something that's going to go into our inventory accounts. Those are going to be period expenses, not product expenses. So we just want to add up the product expenses for factory overhead. So if we take those, that's what we're going to have right here. So it totals $153,000. So that is going to give us the total budgeted overhead that we anticipate that we're going to incur. And so now we have to plug in our driver information. So we chose to use processing hours as a way to allocate overhead. And so we have three products: tortilla chips, potato chips, and pretzels. And it gives us what our budgeted volume is. We can plug that in here. And it also gives us the processing hours per case. So we can plug that in. So to get the total processing hours, if we're going to do 4,000 cases of potato chips, and it's going to take 0.2 hours per case, that is going to give us our total hours here. So we plan on spending $153,000, and we plan on using 2,550 hours to do so. So that is going to give us a cost or an overhead rate of $60 per processing hour. So then part B, it says, okay, we want to use what we just calculated to determine the total per case overhead applied to each case. So we know what the per hour cost is. Now we have to figure out, hey, what is going to be per case? So we want to plug in the processing hours. And we know our rate is $60 an hour. And then we want to divide that. So that's the total hours per product. Now we divide it by how long it takes to do each, or how many total cases. So divide it by our volume. So we already have that set up here. So then if we take our total cost per product, divide it by our total volume per product, we'll have the total amount of overhead on a per case basis that we're going to allocate.